Chapter 1. Siddhartha's Birth and Prophecy. Once upon a time in ancient India lived a king named Shuddhodana and his queen Mahamaya. The couple was known for their virtuous life and philanthropy. One night, Queen Mahamaya had a vivid dream in which a magnificent white elephant descended from heaven and entered her womb. The dream left him with a sense of deep joy and peace. A few months later, Mahamaya gave birth to a son named Siddhartha Gautama in the kingdom of Kapilavastu. The birth of the child was accompanied by auspicious omens, such as lotus flowers blooming wherever he touched the ground. According to prophecy, it was believed that the child would grow up to become a great king or a great spiritual leader. Chapter 2. Siddhartha's Sheltered Life. Siddhartha's father, King Shuddhodana, wanted his son to be a mighty ruler and save him from the sufferings of the world. The prince was surrounded by luxury and beauty and opulence within the palace walls. His days were spent in intellectual pursuits, martial arts, and various forms of entertainment. Despite living in luxury, Siddhartha felt uneasy. Questions about the purpose of life and the nature of suffering stir within him, slowly disillusioning him with his sheltered existence. Chapter 3. Siddhartha's Four Encounters. One day, Siddhartha decided to explore the world outside the palace. Accompanied by his charioteer, he enters the city and encounters four that change his life forever. The first meeting is with an old man, frail and feeble with age. Siddhartha realized that old age is inevitable, and the body is impermanent. The second encounter was with a sick man, writhing in pain and suffering. Siddhartha realized that illness is an inherent part of life. The third encounter was with a funeral procession, where he saw mourners mourning the loss of a loved one. Siddhartha accepted that death was an inevitable reality. The fourth meeting was with an ascetic monk, spreading peace and tranquility. Siddhartha was mesmerized by the monk's aura and decided to leave his luxurious life in search of deeper truth. Chapter 4. Siddhartha's Renunciation. Siddhartha bids farewell to his wife Yashodhara and his newborn son Rahula and embarks on his spiritual quest. He joined a group of ascetics and practiced severe austerities, subjecting himself to extreme physical suffering. However, despite his efforts, Siddhartha could not find the answers he sought. Realizing that extreme self-absorption was not the path to enlightenment, Siddhartha abandoned his ascetic practice and resolved to follow a moderate middle path. Chapter 5. Siddhartha's Enlightenment. Siddhartha wandered through forests and villages, engaging in deep meditation and contemplation. Finally, he arrived at Bodh Gaya, where he decided to meditate under a Bodhi tree until he attained enlightenment. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Siddhartha faced numerous temptations and distractions, but he remained steadfast in his pursuit. On the full moon night in May, Siddhartha achieved the ultimate state of awakening and became the Buddha, which means the awakened one. Chapter 6. Buddha's Teachings and Legacy. After his enlightenment, the Buddha dedicated the rest of his life to sharing his wisdom with others. He traveled across India, teaching the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path to liberation from suffering. His teachings emphasized compassion, mindfulness, and the eradication of ignorance. The Buddha's teachings spread far and wide, attracting followers from all walks of life. Monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen became his disciples, forming the Sangha, the community of practitioners. Buddha's profound impact on the world endures to this day. His teachings serve as a guiding light for millions, offering a path towards inner peace, wisdom, and liberation. Thus, the story of Siddhartha Gautama, the prince-turned-enlightened sage, unfolded and continues to inspire seekers of truth and spiritual awakening throughout the world. Chapter 7. The Deer Park Sermon. After attaining enlightenment, the Buddha journeyed to Deer Park in Sarnath near Varanasi. There, he delivered his first sermon, known as the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, or the Turning of the Wheel of Dharma. In his sermon, the Buddha expounded the Four Noble Truths. He explained that suffering, dukkha, is an inherent part of existence, and it arises from attachment and craving. He elucidated the cause of suffering, which is the craving for sensual pleasures, existence, and non-existence. Furthermore, he outlined the cessation of suffering, emphasizing the attainment of nirvana, the state of ultimate liberation and freedom from suffering. Finally, he expounded the Eightfold Path, which consists of right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. These principles form a comprehensive guide for leading a wholesome and balanced life. Chapter 8. Miracles and Parables. Throughout his teaching career, the Buddha performed various miracles and shared parables to convey profound spiritual truths in a relatable manner. He demonstrated psychic powers, such as levitation and multiplying his physical form, to inspire faith and understanding among his disciples. The Buddha also used parables, or similes, to elucidate complex concepts. One of the most famous parables is the simile of the raft. In this story, the Buddha compared his teachings to a raft that helps one cross a river of suffering. Once the river is crossed, the raft is no longer necessary and should be abandoned. Similarly, the Buddha taught that his teachings were a means to an end, and that one should not cling to them but transcend them to attain liberation. Chapter 9. The Sangha and the Spread of Buddhism. The Buddha's teachings resonated deeply with people from various backgrounds. Many individuals, including kings, scholars, and merchants, embraced his teachings and became his followers. As the Sangha grew, the Buddha established guidelines for monastic life, emphasizing ethical conduct, meditation, and the pursuit of wisdom. The Buddha's disciples, both monastic and lay, played a crucial role in spreading his teachings. They traveled far and wide, sharing the Dharma and establishing monastic communities. Buddhism gradually spread throughout India and eventually reached other parts of Asia, such as Sri Lanka, China, Japan, and Southeast Asia. Chapter 10. Parinirvana. After years of teaching and guiding his disciples, the Buddha reached the end of his earthly journey. At the age of 80, while in Kushinagar, he attained parinirvana, the final liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Surrounded by his devoted disciples, the Buddha delivered his parting words, reminding them of the impermanence of all things and urging them to strive diligently on the path to liberation. His last teaching emphasized the importance of relying on oneself and one's own efforts to attain enlightenment. With his passing, the physical presence of the Buddha came to an end. However, his teachings and legacy continued to inspire and guide generations of seekers on the path to awakening. Epilogue: The Buddha's enduring influence. The story of the Buddha's life and teachings has left an indelible mark on human history. Buddhism, as a spiritual tradition, continues to thrive worldwide. Its teachings on compassion, mindfulness, and the pursuit of wisdom offer invaluable guidance in navigating the challenges of existence. The legacy of the Buddha's journey serves as a timeless reminder that enlightenment is within the reach of every individual. It encourages us to cultivate compassion, seek truth, and find inner peace amidst the ever-changing nature of life. As we reflect on the enlightened tales of Buddha, may we be inspired to embark on our own spiritual journeys, uncovering the potential for awakening that resides within each of us. And so, dear readers, we reach the end of the Enlightened Tales, Unveiling Buddha's Journey. The story of Siddhartha Gautama's transformation into the Buddha, the Awakened One, has illuminated the path to enlightenment and left an enduring legacy. Through the chapters of Siddhartha's life, we witness the birth of a prince, his encounters with the realities of old age, sickness, and death, his renunciation of worldly attachments, and his ultimate attainment of enlightenment. The Buddha's teachings, rooted in compassion, wisdom, and the pursuit of truth, continue to inspire millions around the world. As we reflect upon this extraordinary tale, let us carry its profound teachings within our hearts. May we embrace the lessons of impermanence, the cessation of suffering, and the noble path to liberation. May we cultivate mindfulness and compassion, nurturing the seeds of awakening in our own lives. Let the enlightened tales of Buddha's journey serve as a guiding light in our quest for truth and self-discovery. Just as Siddhartha ventured beyond the confines of his palace walls, may we venture beyond the limitations of our own minds, exploring the depths of our existence and striving for awakening. May the wisdom and compassion of the Buddha's teachings continue to inspire and uplift us, guiding us towards a life of profound understanding, inner peace, and liberation from suffering. Farewell, dear readers, as we embark on our own journeys of enlightenment, forever inspired by the remarkable story of Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha.